Hello, good evening. Am I audible to all of you? Let us begin. My name is Nikhil, and the topic that we have today is the approach one should have inside the exam hall while writing the exam or while taking the test. How should we approach it? Good evening. Good evening. I hope you are appraised of the approach and the expectations are very clearly laid out. So I will be discussing specifically that in prelims general studies paper, what should be our strategy inside the exam hall, right? Now, this part is actually very crucial for your understanding, and more understanding you have, better it is at the beginning of the practice. देखो एग्जाम हॉल में क्या प्रीलिम्स का, इफ आई हैव टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, जनरली एक खौफ होता है. पीपल आर क्वाइट अफ्रेड ऑफ प्रीलिम्स एंड फॉर वेरियस रीजंस they have fear in their mind. It is the most difficult stage, negative marking, 10 lakh people fill the form, 5 lakh people appear in the exam, only 10,000 get selected for main examination. It's a process of rejection, not of selection. It's a mother of all examinations and whatnot. So most people, at least based on this kind of statistical arrangement, are quite afraid of prelims as stage. Am I right? Is there anybody here who thinks कि नहीं प्रीलिम का कोई डर नहीं होता? अगर है तो बता दो. I see there are few people. I am not seeing somebody here. पता नहीं, शायद नहीं कहेंगे लोग. But I'll be very honest with you. There are always some people who are not afraid of prelims, and I was one of them. In the previous decade, when I gave my attempts, I cleared all the 6 prelims, and sometimes I cleared them with huge amount of preparation. Like in the first attempt, where I took preparation of almost 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year, or in 4th attempt, 4th attempt, 6th attempt, etc. When after the interview stage, you hardly have 10 days or 15 days for preparation, I still could clear prelims. And it was not me alone. I have at least half a dozen friends, most of them who are in service, who used to clear prelims every single year, and not with a small margin of at least 20, 30 marks, very easily, even when they have no time to prepare. And this kind of ability was carried forward into many by many of them into state services as well. तो हमारे मन में खौफ, ऐसे लोगों में खौफ बिल्कुल नहीं होता. Is it because that we have read too much? Is it because that हमारा ज्ञान का भंडार बहुत ज्यादा है? बिल्कुल नहीं. It is not because of that. So first of all, one thing I want to clear in your mind, that ability to clear the prelim is only partly to do with your content. I will demonstrate very clearly in next half an hour that it is not only about content, it's also about strategy, and it's also about mindset. ये 3 चीजें हैं, content, strategy and mindset. That is one thing I want to tell. And secondly, through that I want to take the fear out of your mind. चलो, पहला सवाल, the first question that we have to discuss is how many questions to attempt. अब देखो, some people would say I have attempted 90 plus questions and still I could not clear. Some people would say that देखो, I attempted only 70 questions, I cleared the examination. So is there any single number that is a good indicator or good signifier of how many questions you must attempt? Do you go in the exam hall with that mindset कि यार कुछ नहीं हो तो भी मुझे 90 क्वेश्चन तो अटेम्प्ट करने हैं? There are many toppers, many teachers, many YouTube strategists who would give such kind of, भाई कुछ नहीं करके 85 करके आना, 90 करके आना. Do you think that is it wise thing to have in mind? एक नंबर होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? अगर होना चाहिए तो क्या होना चाहिए? Is it 80? Is it 90? You can tell me. I want to see what is your opinion. In examination hall, general studies के prelims paper में कितने question attempt करना safe होता है? What is your guess? 75, 60 to 70. 60 क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करने हैं, 80 to 85 depends on difficulty of the paper, depends on mock score 80 plus. Okay, so we have 60, 70, 80, 85 range, and some people are saying it depends on your score in mock test. Some people are saying it depends on your difficulty of the paper. Now I'll tell you, this is the first level thinking. It is helpful only up to certain extent, but not completely. And that why is that? If we go in the exam hall with a predefined strategy ki I have to attempt 85 questions, I have to attempt 90 questions, 80 questions, jo kuch ho, it may not work out because many factors work inside the exam hall. Pehli baat, cutoff varies every year. I have seen cutoff of 110. Cutoff has come down to 80, 85, 75 also. So you never know where the cutoff is because you never know how difficult is the paper. It could be very tough. It could be very easy. It could be like 2016. It could be like 2022. One was very easy. One was very difficult. आपको नहीं पता. So अगर बहुत difficult है यानी if you still have that high number in mind, 85 attempt करना ही है, you may end up doing more mistakes. Or if you are playing very conservatively, कि यार 60, 65, 70 करके जाऊं and paper बड़ा आसान आ जाए, तो you again would end up having some problem. तो हमें दोनों cases को avoid करना है. And negative marking also, as PT 797 is saying, it plays a major role. Correct. So how should we think about it? There is another thing. In the exam hall, psychologically क्या होता है? We start thinking कि ये पेपर आसान है या मुश्किल. Is this paper difficult or easy? Now, that is the kind of thinking we must avoid. We must avoid. होता क्या है? कट ऑफ अलग अलग हो सकता है, and paper solve करते समय we should solve the paper. We should think of a question, not of the overall paper. हो सकता है कि you might find the paper very easy, somebody else might find it very difficult. आपने पढ़ाई अच्छी करी हो. Maybe you find paper very difficult, others find easy. Maybe it varies from question to question also. जो क्वेश्चन आपके लिए आसान है मेरे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल है, and vice versa. So first thing, you never know whether paper is easy or difficult. And second thing, the moment you start assessing the level of difficulty of paper in the exam hall while exam is going on, it is a waste of time. It does not help you at all. आपको पता है सचिन तेंदुलकर कहता था कि भाई कितना स्कोर बनाया, आज खेलने जाऊंगा बैट्समैन सचिन तेंदुलकर, कितना स्कोर बनाए. He said कि भाई I never go with that mindset on the pitch. आज पिच कैसा है, बॉल कैसा है, based on that moment I decide कि मैं इस बॉल में फोर्थ 6, 1, 2 और प्लेड क्या करूंगा, जितने रन बने बने. तो आपको आपका माइंड नहीं पता, आपको एग्जाम नहीं पता, आपको क्वेश्चन पेपर नहीं पता, डिफिकल्टी नहीं पता, बाकी लोगों को क्या लग रहा है ये भी नहीं पता. सो यू कैन नॉट गो विद अ प्रीडिफाइंड नंबर ऑफ 85, 90, 70, 75 नहीं जाना. और उसके बारे में एग्जाम के अंदर भी नहीं सोचना है. दैट इज फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. देन what you should do, you should be flexible. But how exactly should you be flexible? That is the next question. तो उसके बारे में ना दो तरीके हैं सोचने के, टू मेथड्स, टू वेज ऑफ थिंकिंग अबाउट इट. वन इज अ वेरी सिंपल मेथड टू कॉम्प्रिहेंड एंड अदर इज मोर रिगरस मेथड. आई विल डिस्कस बोथ ऑफ देम वन बाय वन. पहले बात करते हैं पहले मेथड. वो क्या है? आपको 100 स्कोर, इफ यू गो बाय लास्ट 5 इयर्स ट्रेंड, आपको 100 स्कोर लाना है. 100 लेके आओ, आप क्लियर, कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं. And for 100 score, you need to have 50 net questions right. 50 net. मतलब क्या है? By doing negative also, you need to get 50 net questions correct. Now, let us take that you attempt, for example, 90 questions. Of 90 questions, 60 are right and 30 are wrong. Because there is 1/3 negative marking, 30 wrong becomes 10. So 60 minus 10, 50. 50 net is right. You are getting 100 score. You are through the exam. So it also depends on your accuracy ratio. Somebody may attempt little less and have more accuracy. Somebody attempt little more and has less accuracy. Both of them can get the same score. What we need at the end of the day, simple formula, net 50 right questions to get 100 score. And to be on the safer side, a common person like me would have 1/3 questions wrong. So I'm assuming for getting 50 net right, I need to have 60 right and 30 wrong. Let us take that as an example, just for the indicator, for the sake of calculation. 60 right and 30 wrong. Now tell me, do you think that in the paper of 100 questions, is it possible to find 60 right questions, 60 easy questions? Yes, it is. What happens psychologically is that we tend to get attracted more towards outliers, more towards fringe topics, more towards difficult questions, more towards something which is not mainstream. And we get stuck to that. Ki bhai, ye kaise pooch liya? What is this question? This is too random. Chhod do. We are not going to run behind that randomness. We are going to run behind those 60 questions, which are mainstream, easy, doable, and वो 60 questions आपको एग्जाम क्लियर कराएंगे. So our idea is to be able to find 60 right questions, and 60 right questions are easy. Now, the takeaway from this is that the difficult questions, the outlier questions, never determine your success in the exam. Your success in the exam is determined by 60 mainstream questions and not 30, 40 difficult questions. But many teachers, right, many toppers want to discuss their parakrama. So while discussing their parakrama, they would say, I had read that topic in that book. I had watched that series there. I had discussed this kind of magazine with some kind of person. I had read this random newspaper. So I got one fact right. And because of that one fact, my one answer got right. But that one question has never determined anybody's ability to clear the prelims. Okay, so first point first is that net 50 questions. And for that, you need to find 60 easy questions and not to run behind those 40 difficult questions. But what happens? Understand, psychology, it's a game of psychology. I go into exam hall. I know that this is opportunity only once in a year. I have prepared for 1 year. I have spent so much time and effort and money behind this, and I have invested myself emotionally into it. So this day and these 2 hours are extremely important for me. I cannot make any mistake. So I go under stress in the exam hall. I open the question paper. First question, very difficult. Second is difficult. Third is difficult. Fifth is I am afraid. अब क्या करें? Now somebody had told me, Nikhil, don't worry. They are good enough easy questions. Just change the sequence. Go to the last. Maybe, unfortunately, the first few questions are difficult. Okay, let me go to the back side. Once I go to question number 199, oh, those are also again difficult. So last 5-10 questions could also be very. Let me go in the middle. Even in the middle, I open the random page. Again, I find difficult questions. Even then, I do not need to worry. I need to have that assurance that there are 60 enough easy questions. They could be distributed anywhere. They might not come in the beginning. They may not come in a continuous chunk. They will be distributed randomly. So what you need, the second point, is to be able to have emotional regulation of not getting derailed, not getting disturbed by initial setbacks. For some people, the initial few questions could be very easy. For some, they could be very difficult. It doesn't matter. It keeps changing. So the first point, net 50 questions. Secondly, the 60 easy questions that you have to find. 40 questions don't determine your success. And third point, the sequence of questions could be very random. Go with the expectation in the exam hall कि पहले 10-15 सवाल मुझे नहीं आने. I will not be able to attend first 10, 15, 20 questions. Still, I will be able to score 100 plus. because it is the mindset that matters here. You should not get derailed by that. Now, this is one way of thinking. I hope this much is clear to you. Is it rational? Do you agree with me so far? Please tell me. Okay. Now, let me change the perspective a little bit and move to the other method of looking at the same thing. And that method I have derived from my years of experience. As I said, I have given 6 attempts. I have cleared prelims in every attempt, sometimes with huge amount of study, sometimes with no scope of study at all. And every single time the cutoff has been, I have scored at least 10, 15, 20, 30 plus cutoff. What is the secret? The secret is that I am doing the same thing in different way now. That I understood that मैं चाहे जितना पढ़ लूं, in the first attempt I prepared for almost 14, 15 months. In the 4th, 5th, 6th attempt, I did not get time to prepare at all for some or the other reason. The point is that irrespective of that, मैंने बहुत पढ़ा था, बहुत कम पढ़ा था. I have read too much and very less. I practiced so many mock tests, practiced very few mock tests. I had solved so many MCQs at back end. I had solved very few MCQs. I had times for 3 times of revision. I had no time for revision at all, irrespective of all of that. Whether paper was difficult, this is also important. Whether paper was very difficult or whether paper was very easy. In every possible combination, one thing has remained constant. And that one constant thing is the formula of 30, 40, 30. So in the method 1, the formula was net 50 positive, net 50 questions to be right. In the second method, I'm changing the formula. You pick up which one you find to be better. Second is more scientific. You need to understand 30, 40, 30 formula. What is 30, 40, 30? कि जितना चाहे पढ़ लो, जितना चाहे आसान मुश्किल पेपर हो, it is very difficult to be 100% sure of more than 30, 35 questions. 30, 35, let us take 30. कि जब बहुत पढ़ के गया था और बहुत कम पढ़ के गया था, in either of the cases, I was damn sure only about 30, 35 questions that they are going to be extremely, I am 100% guaranteed. I have 100% knowledge that these 35 questions are accurate. There is no doubt about it. That number did not increase. I remember my third attempt, I prepared so much, so hard, from so many different coachings and notes and books, fundamental books, everything, and multiple revisions. Still that 35 number remained 35 only. Too much of preparation did not help me to improve that 35 to 45. Kabhi nahi. It never happened. Second thing. Then 30 questions, 30, 35 questions are those questions which I know that I know for sure. ये मेरा स्कोर कितना लेके आएंगे 60, 65 बस. It is not enough to clear the exam. So I need to go beyond what I know. यहाँ पे आता है next chunk 30, 40, 30. So middle one is 40. What is this 40? 40 are those questions where I know something, but not completely. Maybe I'm able to understand the question partially. Maybe I have enough data to eliminate 2 options, but I'm still unsure between C and D, 50-50. So my knowledge is enough to go halfway, but not to complete it. So my content will take me, the revision, the practice, the reading, the books, the notes, everything will take me halfway, but not beyond that. That is the middle 40. These are the 40 questions. Could be 30 questions, could be 40. For the sake of simplicity, let us understand 40. Here, what you need to have is not more reading and more revision. What you need here is the ability to think logically. Memory is not going to help. You need to go beyond memory and then use some kind of logical analysis to select one of the 2 options. That is the next 40. And then you have last 30 where I have no idea what it is. कभी शायद सुना होगा. I maybe know one option. I don't know what this topic is all about. I have no idea. So here it is a random guess, complete to come. So this is a structure of paper for everybody, every year, irrespective of whether it's the first attempt or the sixth attempt, irrespective of how much difficult is the paper and irrespective of how much you have prepared. This proportion roughly remains the same. 30 का 35 हो जाएगा, 35 का 30 हो जाएगा. That's all. It doesn't change much. So what does it mean? It means that you should have this idea that these proportions never change. Now, if you have this idea, the strategy for every segment is different. What should I do? I should be able to have maximum accuracy, ideally 100% or maybe up to 90%. Let us say 90% is my accuracy in 30 questions. What is the score I would get? 30 may say 27 are right. So 27, 54 minus 2, 52. I'll get 52 marks in those 30 questions. In the second half, second cohort, 40 questions, I will have to again attempt all of them, but accuracy will not be high. It will be somewhat above 50 and less than 90, let us say 70% accuracy. So if 70% is the accuracy, I would still score around 45, 48, 48. So these 48 and that 52 आपका हो गया, so score 100 score. So we have not even touched those 30 questions. Last वाले 30. In the first 30, you have 90% accuracy. In the next 40 or 70% accuracy, आपने 100 score कर लिया, काम हो. My point is that I am again coming to the same number, net 50 positive. I am discussing it from different perspective. When you have net 50 positive, you don't get it with the same method. For some questions, you get based only on memory, content, and knowledge. And for some questions, you get right based on your ability to solve the MCQ, your logical thinking, rational thinking, because the content, the memory is not adequate. It is only serving halfway. And even after solving those 30 plus 40, 70 questions, you may feel कि नहीं यार मेरा attempt थोड़ा बढ़ाना चाहिए. I need to increase more attempt. I need to increase some questions. You can do that. In the last 30% that remains, you can go for a calculated risk of 5, 7, 10 questions. But again, it's a high risk, high reward game. If you decide to do 10 questions out of 10, maybe you can get 3 right and 7 wrong. You're still net positive. 0 से नीचे नहीं जा रहे हो, no loss कर सकते. But if you are getting 2 right and 8 wrong, तो फिर दिक्कत हो जाएगी. तो it's a high risk, high reward. वो last में छोड़ दो उसको. Now, what I want to talk about is that this kind of division of 30, 40, 30 has a bearing on your strategy. The bearing is of two kinds. First kind is that you need to solve the paper in at least 2 rounds. At least 2 rounds. The first round, you identify the easy questions, just attempt them. They would be around 30, 35. In the second round, you go for more thinking. You have read the question once earlier. Now you think about it, that I have eliminated 2 options. Whenever you have eliminated 2 options, उस question को बिल्कुल नहीं छोड़ना है. अगर छोड़, if you're leaving that question, you're doing महापाप. 50-50 questions must be attempted. They fall in middle 40. The chances 50-50 is better than negative marking जो 1/3 है. So even statistically, negative over 1/3 है, and chances of you after 50-50 elimination के बाद तो आपको solve करना ही करना. You're net positive, not in negative. So that is one thing, that you have to go for 2 rounds. That is one implication. The second implication, which is actually much more fundamental, is that your reading, your notes, your revision, your books, it all will come handy only to solve 30-35 questions. That's all. Usko wahin chhod de. Beyond that, for next 40 questions, it will help only 50%. What will help to complete it 100%? It is the way you increase the accuracy by logical thinking, by test solving ability, MCQ practice. Herein comes the game of practicing mock tests. So for first 30-35, increase the content. For next 40 questions, increase the mock practice. That is how you define the strategy of preparation as well. Apart from this, so मैंने आपके साथ दो strategy discuss कर ली. First one was net 50 positive, other is the formula of 30 40 30. Both are the same, the two sides of the same coin, but the way I narrated it is different. जैसे आपको सूट हो आप उसको पकड़ सकते हो. It's not a problem at all. But I want to discuss 2-3 more points that you should be careful about in the exam hall. One thing is that your mindset matters a lot. It's not that it is only in the interview stage that UPSC test your personality. No. If anybody believes that personality test happens only in interview, it is completely wrong. It is throughout the process of prelims, mains and interview. हर level पे your personality and mindset is being tested in a different way. In prelims, first of all, you should understand that जैसे कि आपको आपका calmness and composure maintain करना. It's a game of mind. The moment you go with the expectation in the class, in the exam hall, कि भाई मेरे 40 नहीं करने मेरे को, I just need to find 60 right question. Even if पहले task, first 10, last 10, middle 10, all of them are different, and I am able to find first easy question after 30 minutes, still I can score 100. ये knowledge जो है, it gives you calmness and composure. You must not panic. Secondly, sometimes we have habit of guesswork, second guesswork rather. You revisit, अरे मैंने ए तो कर दिया, सही किया था, शायद बी हो सकता है, नहीं ए नहीं बी. ये ओवर थिंकिंग को आपको अवॉइड करना है. मेनी टाइम्स यू विल फील दैट ओवर थिंकिंग विल ब्रिंग यू बैक टू रॉन्ग आंसर, जो पहले सोचा था सही आंसर. इट हैपेंस मेनी टाइम्स. सो डोंट ओवर थिंक. Thirdly, don't panic. What you need is to have the ability to live in the moment. Live in the moment. Future में क्या होगा? I'm telling you, every year, one day before prelims, we get a call from many students कि sir, इस बार नहीं होना, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. I have had a student who even start out the strategy for next year prelim one day before prelim. मैंने कहा तो पागल है भैया. And that student cleared the prelims that year. So under pressure, we should not panic. We should live in the moment. फ्यूचर में क्या होगा, बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, उसको पेपर कैसे जा रहा होगा, मेरा साल तो बर्बाद, ये सब नहीं सोचना है. नॉट ओनली इनसाइड द एग्जाम हॉल बट इवन आफ्टर द एग्जाम. आफ्टर दिस मॉर्निंग का पेपर ऑफ जीएस, you have a couple of hours in between before CSAT begins. Even then, in that duration, you should not start assessing your performance. फोन करके सर पेपर ऐसा रहा मेरा, इसका मेरा आंसर वो सा कुछ नहीं चाहिए, शाम को देख लो. Till the time exam completely gets over with the CSAT paper, you should not start assessing your GS performance. So neither in the exam hall and nor after the paper, till the evening, आपको कुछ assessment करनी है. आपको बस live in the moment, look at the question. Now, दो चीजें कई बार होती है और sometimes paper feels very lengthy. I have seen some papers sometimes are lengthy. They have longer questions. It takes time, and the strategy of going for 2 rounds is not feasible. In such cases, अगर आपको लग रहा है कि you cannot go for in first 15-20 minutes, you will have a good idea. In such cases, you should start attempting questions one by one, assuming that it will be only 1 round and not 2 rounds. Now, how to solve the paper in 1 round and how to solve the paper in 2 rounds, that requires separate practice. यहाँ पे आपकी mock practice काम को आएगी. So whenever you go for mock practice, go with the strategic thinking that these few mocks I will go for 1 round only. These few mocks I will go for 2 rounds. And let me see if I have a good bearing of them. ये आपको पूरी practice करनी है in mock and double round, because you never know, paper will be lengthy. If it is not lengthy, and have 3 rounds also. But there have been at least 2 years in last 10 years when the questions were longer and 2 rounds were practically not feasible. We have to finish with 1 round alone. That is one. And the second point, ये OMR की गलतियां नहीं कर. That is the biggest and costliest mistake you do not keep OMR for the end. आखिरी के 20 मिनट में OMR कर लूंगा, कभी नहीं. Never. Never. There are two ways. I used to go ball by ball. For every question I have to solve, I have to mark OMR. But even if you don't do that, let us take 20, 25, 30 question ka bunch. After every 30, 40 minutes, 20 questions, go and do that marking on OMR sheet. इसके दो फायदे होते हैं. फायदा नंबर 1, you get enough break in between. आपको ब्रेक मिल जाता है. फायदा नंबर 2, एंड में लोड आके गलतियां नहीं होती, ये भी अवॉइड होता है. So you should be very careful about OMR. This is the point. The first was merging the rounds if required. Second was OMR. उसके पहले कहा था mindset matters. बस ये चीजें हैं. You should think of this. Now, so strategy for mocks. पहली बात तो समझे कि हम कितने, how many mocks to attempt. Here I have had a roommate who used to have mock based preparation strategy. He used to attempt 40, 50, 60 mocks, 100 mocks तक उसने लगाए थे एक attempt में तो. And there was another roommate of mine, he was very miser. He used to do only 1 or 2 mocks, भाई हो गया, मुझसे नहीं होता. Both of them are officers today. So first of all, there is no such a scientific number कि आपको कितने mocks लगाना जरूरी है. It depends on your background, depends on your weakness and strength. Still, there are certain markers. First of all, understand that not all mocks are good. The first thing is PYQ. PYQ is the most important thing. अगर आपने PYQs नहीं करे हैं, if you start doing mocks, it will not help at all. It will backfire for multiple reasons. एक तो, if you have not done PYQs, it means that you have not understood syllabus properly. It means that you don't have ability to judge the question paper. You don't know how UPSC thinks. And not all question papers are always good. Some institutes may bring some good papers, some bad papers. Some bad institutes, some good institutes. So I will not name the names here, but the point is that not all mocks are equally good. The fundamental thing, first of all, is to do all the PYQs. By all, I mean last 10, 20 years, depending on the topic and ability and time. PYQs का फायदा क्या होता है? Sometimes the content is repeated, and even if the content is not repeated, you get to know how UPSC frames the question. You need to start seeing through the question framing that helps you arrive at good answer. So first thing, finish PYQs. And if you have not done that, do not start mocks or don't start intensive mocks. Some mocks sometimes are okay. Secondly, and this is here things get interesting. Why do you attempt mocks? There could be largely two different purposes of attempting mocks. One purpose is just to enhance the content. That, okay, I have read history maybe 3 months ago. I want to revise the history, but reading books is very boring. Let me revise the history through the mock paper. तो market में गया, 4 history के sectional mocks उठाए, and I did those question papers, and through that I was able to revise the syllabus. So sometimes people attempt mock tests just to cover the syllabus, just to revise the syllabus. Sometimes people attend mock tests because they want to cover some extra current affairs through the questions and answers. So these different possibilities are there where the main objective is to revise and acquire more content. The objective is not to score. Scoring is not the objective. ऐसे जितने चाहे मॉक्स लगा लो यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? मार्केट में जाके हर क्लास का 10 पेपर लेके आओ. Because here you are not actually going for mock. You are just trying to revise the syllabus, enhance the content. It's the change in the mode of reading and revision. This is not actual testing. जब एक अटेम्प्ट 2016 या 17 की बात है, मैं दे रहा था, उस अटेम्प्ट मैंने 40 पेपर लगाए थे. But out of those 40 papers, 32 papers were only because I got bored of reading book. तो चलो रात में बैठ के पेपर लगाओ, थोड़ी पढ़ाई हो जाए. Sometimes, especially if it is not your first attempt, it is third, fourth, fifth attempt, reading same Lakshmikant, reading same spectrum gets too tedious. Momentum नहीं बनता, तो हम मॉक पेपर लगाते हैं. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट कैटेगरी ऑफ मॉक टेस्ट, जहां पे टेस्टिंग इज नॉट द पर्पस, इट जस्ट रिवीजन एंड कंटेंट एनहांसमेंट. उनको भूल जाओ, वो आप करे, 100 करे पेपर, 200 करे, 1000 करे, उसमें मैं काउंट ही नहीं करूंगा. Then there is second category or second purpose of doing mock tests. It is here you are going for scoring. You are checking your understanding. You are being competitive. The numbers matter. It is the actual simulation. Here you try strategies of single round and double rounds. Here you try emotional regulation. Here you try to actually simulate the complete exam atmosphere in your surrounding and in your mind. यहां पे आपको एग्जाम को पूरा सीरियसली लेना है. इवन इफ यू गेट बोर्ड, डोंट लीव द एग्जाम हॉल. मोबाइल को बंद मतलब बंद रखना है. 2 घंटे पूरा जगह पे बैठना है. यू आर नॉट सपोज टू स्टैंड अप फॉर 2 hours. गो थ्रू द एंटायर प्रोसेस, इनकलकेट दैट हैबिट. ऐसे वाले मॉक्स जो है विच आर एक्चुअली सिमुलेटेड मॉक्स, कितने, मे बी 8, मे बी 10, मे बी 15, दैट्स ऑल, बिटवीन अराउंड 10. And in last 2-3 years you have seen, last 4 साल से मेरे ख्याल से, that in the old Narendra Nagar we have a tradition of free mocks. In the last 2 months हर Sunday mocks होते हैं, open mock tests होते हैं. Sometimes they happen in the exam hall, sometimes in schools, etc. Take advantage of those. उनको आप अगले आखिरी के 2 महीने जो 8 संडे होते हैं, 10 संडे होते हैं, every Sunday give one mock, but in a fully simulated atmosphere. That is one thing. Now, after that, here comes the main punchline. And this is the most important. What do you do after the mock test? Mock test 2 घंटे की हो गई, 2 hours of mock test. But then you want to assess your performance. It is this assessment of performance that is the most crucial aspect of mock. It takes about 3 hours or 4 hours. For me, it used to take properly 4 hours. But if you don't do it, अगर आपने ये 4 घंटे after the mock invest नहीं किए, if you don't go for proper methodical, scientific post mock analysis, post mock diagnosis, तो mock देने के 2 घंटे बेकार है. Then they are of not much use. तो ये पोस्ट मॉक जो 3 से 4 घंटे देने हैं, वो देने ही देने हैं. ओनली देन मॉक के 2 घंटे काम को आते हैं. अब वो जो पोस्ट मॉक एनालिसिस जो है 3 से 4 घंटे, वो क्या है, और वो उसी दिन तुरंत, इट हैज टू बी डन ऑन दैट वेरी डे इन विथ फ्रेश माइंड, अदरवाइज इट विल नॉट हैपन. एंड दैट इज द मोस्ट क्रूशियल एस्पेक्ट. दैट इज हाउ यू विल एनहांस योर परफॉर्मेंस. एंड व्हाट इज दैट? नाउ यहां पे यू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मेक अ पेपर, make a sheet, have a table. Make couple 3-4 columns in that. Column number 1 is category A. Column number 2 is category B, and column number 3 is category C. Category A, B, and C. Now, what is this ABC? Category A are those questions where you think that you were 100% guaranteed कि यही आंसर है. यही I know for sure. मतलब you know that the answer came from memory. And उसका आप निकालो कितने अटेम्प्ट किए कैटेगरी ए में, और उसमें एक्यूरेसी कितनी आई, स्कोर कितना है. कैटेगरी बी are those questions where you applied some kind of method, some kind of logic, some kind of extension of application of reasoning. And यहाँ पे how many questions you attempted and accuracy कितनी है. And category C are the last questions जहाँ पे आपने तुक्का मार दिए, 2, 4, 5, 10 क्वेश्चन कर दिए. How many you attempted and what was the accuracy. So what I want to see is when you do self diagnosis of a test, score कितना आया, मेरा score 90 आया, it has no sense. 90 score does not make any reading for me or anybody or even for you. That is not the way of. Last time I got 90, this time I got 95. My score is increasing. It is a very superficial level of understanding. What is more important, that in that 90, what are those three components? 100%, 50% and tukka component. उसका इंडिविजुअल स्कोर क्या है वो देखना है. And that should start approximating 30-40-30. 30-40-30 जो हमने पहले देखा. For example, let me discuss couple of cases with you. In one mock, in the 100% category, I could attempt only 20 questions. But after giving such multiple mocks, my category A questions are now 20, 20, 22, 20. They are not increasing. What does it mean? It means that my reading is not sufficient. That is my taker. So I should go back and read more, finish the books, revise properly, and then come. I need to bring that category A to 30-35. Let us say my category A is 30-35 over multiple mocks, but the accuracy is very less. It is only 60%, 65% accuracy in category. It's a red alarm. Why red alarm? Because in category A, I am supposed to be confident that I know what I know. Itna to mujhe aata hai. But maybe I was under false impression. And that's why what I thought I know, I don't know. यहाँ पे category A की accuracy has to be above 90%. If it is 70%, 60%, it means what I thought I knew, I actually did not know. So my content is weak. So takeaway for me is go back home, bring back the basic books and clear the concepts. I am lacking conceptual clarity. That is the takeaway, not from the overall score, but from the component of category E. कि कैटेगरी ए की अगर नंबर छोटा है या फिर एक्यूरेसी कम है, इट मींस द टेकअवे इज रीड मोर, रिवाइज मोर. नाउ लेट मी कम टू कैटेगरी बी. 30-40, 30 का 40 वाला कंपोनेंट, मिडिल कंपोनेंट. हियर my accuracy should be 60%, 70%. If it is too less, let us say 50%, it means my identification of topic was correct, that I know 50% only. 50-50 वाला तुक्का है, half tukka. But despite being able to eliminate two wrong options out of the remaining two, I am not choosing the correct one. यहाँ पे मेरी गलतियां ज्यादा होगी. If my mistakes are more in category B, if my accuracy is, let us say, only 50% and not 70, 70% accuracy in category B is very good. But if it is 50%, it means that I need to solve more mocks. I need to solve more mocks. So let me do more at practice of test solving. So the accuracy ratio of the category B questions will help me determine should I practice more mocks or not. Do I need to solve 10 mocks or 20 mocks or 50 mocks? Depends on the accuracy of category B. Minimum 10 तो सबको करना है. 10 mocks everybody should do in a simulated atmosphere. But should I go more than 10, 20, 30, whatever? That depends on the accuracy ratio of category B. It should be around 70%, 65%, not 50. And then you come to category C. In category C, it is pure tukka. Maybe I was aware of one of the four options, जो गलत है, तीन मुझे नहीं पता, या फिर I don't know anything at all. It's pure tukka. Even in that case, I need to identify how many questions I attempted and what was the accuracy. Let us say I attempted 10 questions and accuracy is 30%. It's okay. 20% accuracy, it's a problem. As long as I do not go into net negative, it is fine. If it is zero, it is completely okay. It's neutral. But if my accuracy is only 20%, what does it mean? It means my tukkas are not right. I need to control my temptation, control my urge in the final example. So my suggestion to you is all of you must carry a small diary or a small note in your mobile where you mention name of the date, name of the mock exam, and have 3 tables, category A, B, and C. And in each category, how many questions you attempted and what was the accuracy. And maintain that table for every mock over the weeks and months. Maybe in next 4 or 5 months, you will have given, let us say, 30 tests. So you have 30 small tables. You can see in category A, my score is around 30, 35 ka attempt and 80, 85, 90% accuracy. You are done. Then your concepts are clear. Don't focus a lot on thoda revision karte raho, be happy. In category B, your attempts is around 40, 45 questions and accuracy around 70%, 65%. You are again done. Aapki pre nikal gayi. Category C, to control the temptation. So maintain that small diary with you, either physically or digitally. It will come extremely handy. So this is how you're supposed to focus on your post mock analysis. If you don't do that, if you focus only on overall score, it is not a good diagnosis. It doesn't give you appropriate feedback for preparation strategy. But category ABC wise analysis will give you appropriate feedback for the actual strategy ki padhu kaise, what do I do in my preparation. Okay, now this is what I want to talk about mocks. Sairam is asking at 1836, sir, with PYQs understanding the psychology of the examiner, which most of the toppers say, and how can we do it? Sairam, what I would suggest is that we do in the classes also, while teaching in foundation course or any other course. And also we have a lot of videos on YouTube. You can go, you have RTFQ, for example, revised through 500 questions of last year. You can go and watch there. Okay. You can start seeing a typical phrasing hota hai, typical logic hota hai. And once you get a knack of it, it happens. It's okay, science nahi hai uska. It will come through practice and having more exposure and more thinking about specific questions. Uski koi philosophy nahi banegi aise. If anybody makes philosophy or starts saying tricks, extreme statement wala tricks, well, these tricks don't work. They don't work. Shashank is asking, how many questions usually you were able to do? Some elimination and how many you left altogether? See, my attempt kept on varying, but around 80-85 was my attempt every year. In that range, mid-80s ke aaspas attempt hota tha, irrespective of the difficulty. So 30-35, 100% guarantee, 40 ke around 50-50 wale, and 5-10 ke extra risk, higher risk at the end in the last 5 minutes or something. That was my overall proportion. Could you please make your video of analysis of history, MCQ, PYQ, sir, on YouTube? Anil, there are already lots of MCQ discussions by me on YouTube, by me as well as by Vishal, sir. You can just go to LevelUp IAS YouTube channel, type RTFQ, revised through 500 questions, we'll get a lot of videos. For history only, which institute mock test series should we solve? Shubham, history ke liye na, I will be very honest. Go to the PYQ. If you have time, first priority is 10 years PYQ. If you have more time, the second priority is 45 years PYQs. And once that is done, then pick up any institute, doesn't matter. What we do in the month of April, LevelUp IAS comes up with RTFQ. I think most of you are aware of that. Revised through 500 questions. Every day, around 100 questions we discuss on YouTube. And that goes on for almost 1 month. तो आपके पास वहां पे 2,500 से 3,000 सवाल, 2,500 सवाल तो होते ही होते हैं. लास्ट ईयर भी करा था, उसके लास्ट ईयर भी करा था. If you have more time, you can go and watch these lectures. We discuss every question in detail.